Regardless of whatever situation or circumstance that you're in right now, whether positive or negative, good or bad, whether related to your school life, your work life, or your personal life, family matters or friend matters, you have to trust that this is supposed to be a part of your experience and a part of your journey. If it wasn't meant to be a part of your experience, you wouldn't be going through this phase right now. You genuinely wouldn't. Life has an interesting way of guiding us into the experiences that allow us to learn the things we need to know in order to become a better version of ourselves. In a way, life is a mirror of our internal state, and though if we choose to look at it that way, then we'll continue to identify the lessons that we need to know to grow. What is up, everyone? I hope you're doing well. If you don't know me, my name is Ishaan, and welcome to the video. One of the biggest things that I've had to work on over the past 10 plus years is overthinking and answering the what if questions in my head. And what I mean by that is when I have times to think about things, when there's no deep work involved. So I'm thinking about things like cooking, showering, driving. Like these are things that are so automatic in our brains and our bodies that when we do these, we have to, like, our brain can just go on autopilot and we can spiral down into thoughts. And that's what happens to me sometimes, where if I don't consciously practice meditations during these times to just observe and let go of my thoughts, I do spiral down into wondering about what if I did this, or what if I did that, or what if I didn't do this right, or what if I don't do this right? What if I'm not supposed to be here right now? What if I'm not supposed to do this? And the truth is that the the fucking truth is that we don't have the answers to these what if questions. Like genuinely, for the most part, these answers that we make up in our minds is a culmination based on experiences that we have had in our personal lives. Just because we've had those personal experiences doesn't mean that the next one is going to play out exactly the same. It's it's like your brain's trying to run a simulation based on like past data, which now I'm saying that out loud and I'm like, damn, like that's really what AI does too. Like you're training it based on some past data, but then it can't make generalizations on new stuff as well, especially since if it doesn't have data related to it. And I guess our brain works in some sort of a similar fashion. That's where neural networks come from. They're inspired by how the brain works. That was a tangent. But what I was trying to get at was that we really don't have the answers to these what if questions. So whatever we come up in our head, it's not really a real thing that's translated into this material reality just yet. Though there is the case of the more you think about something or a certain outcome, it's more probable to occur that way. Just because you're placing so much attention towards it that your energy goes to that, and then slowly like you start to attract that, and that's the law of attraction and manifestation world things, right? Where they push out, by they I mean the community pushes out the idea that you're supposed to focus on and visualize the good things that you want or the outcomes that you want to attract, while letting go of the fixation on that outcome, which sounds so crazy, but that's like, it makes sense. And that's what I kind of want to hit on here as well, is you have to make decisions, or overthinking leads to problems or barriers in decision making. But the core concepts that I've employed in my life now is, or over the past few years specifically, is making the best decision based on the information that I have, and then trusting the universe and God with the rest, that things will play out exactly like they're supposed to. If I don't believe that, if I don't embody that idea, I'm not gonna lie, bro, I might go crazy in the head. Like, genuinely, if I'm not able to, if I don't do this, or if I don't employ this in my life and live this way, I have genuinely no idea how I would go about life. Like, it would just be extremely difficult. It would be a situation where I second guess myself all the time, and that's not a way that we should be living life. Like, we can't live out of fear, we can't live out of scarcity, we can't live out of lack. I shouldn't say can't, because we can, but perhaps it's a consideration of whether that's what aligns with your natural frequency or not. And I won't lie, for me, I'm not enjoying. That's not an enjoyable life, because I've lived that life before. I've lived that life when I wasn't conscious and was making choices out of loneliness or lack or feeling like I need some sort of external validation. Where since then, I've been learning how to trust the decisions that I make, or make the decisions out of confidence, which I feel like that's not something that I've had an issue with even in the past. Like, making decisions is not the problem, it's the consequences, or thinking about, okay, like, what if this doesn't work out? What if that doesn't work out? And that's the part where the overthinking is. And in order to really truly embrace it, but be it so in a way that it doesn't affect the way you make decisions, is to be able to trust and surrender to some sort of higher power. I'll be really honest. A few years ago, I would have never said this out loud because I didn't believe it. My upbringing was a little religious, where I guess I shouldn't say religious. Like, my family followed Hinduism, and that's what I was pretty much born and raised around. Like, we'd go to the temple every week and pray to like gods and all these things, right? And I think I never really understood at a young age what the logic was or what the rationale was, and it didn't make sense to me to be praying to some sort of like physical statue or structure. So I opposed it, and I would always tell my mom, like, oh, I don't believe in God, I don't believe in this, I don't believe in that, we can't see it, there's no proof, blah 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 blah. All these things coming from a naive perspective of a kid who is trying to make the best decisions based on what he knew. But I think one of the things that I can respect is that even when I was younger, I was willing to make my own choices or my own beliefs based on what I understood. And I was trying not to let other people influence that, which is quite interesting in some ways now that I'm saying this out loud. But since then, I grew up, then definitely started off at some sort of like atheist kind of perspective, and then slowly turned agnostic, where I was like, oh, perhaps there is a way where, because I learned more science and I realized that there's so much stuff in science that just can't be explained, which is insane. And that's why I started to think more agnostically, and thinking, okay, like, perhaps we don't know the answer. We don't know whether there's a God or not. And slowly it's transitioned into this personal belief that there has to be a higher power, or there needs to be a higher power that's somewhat guiding this flow of life and the universe. It doesn't make sense that such large scale things exist without some sort of divine intervention. I don't know. And like I said, this is not something that you can prove. So it doesn't really it doesn't really mean that I'm right or someone else is right or someone is wrong. All of what we have is just perspective and different perspectives, when neither one is really right or wrong. And that's quite interesting. But something that I automatically just jumped to was, it doesn't matter if it's true or not. It doesn't matter if a god or the universe some sort of exists or doesn't, in that regards of higher power. Like, even if it doesn't exist and I just believe in it, and it provides me some sort of comfort in life and allows me to become a better version of myself while making decisions out of a place of abundance and love, why wouldn't I choose to do that? Why wouldn't I choose to keep pursuing that path? Especially if it also brings me internal alignment and fulfillment that nothing else in the past has brought me before. And when I think about that, it comes as a no brainer to me that placing my trust in this higher power placing my trust in the universe or God and embracing that sort of unconditional love, unconditional presence, and derive my actions from a place of that divinity. I don't know, dude. It seems like that makes sense to me. It makes a lot of sense to me. There's just so much in this world that we can't explain with just science yet. And honestly, science is the modern language of mysticism, to be very fair. Sometimes perhaps we don't even need proof to believe and have faith, and that's honestly that's such a powerful thing to have. Being able to believe in something that's not fully observable or just there in front of your eyes, that's low-key very powerful, and that's the same kind of mindset that you apply in life for your goals and working towards the things that you really want to attract in your life. Being able to visualize what it is that you truly want to attract while letting go of the fixation on how it's going to happen, because life works in mysterious ways. God works in mysterious ways, apparently. And sometimes the what you want is something that will come to you with time, but in a way that you least expected. One of the Over 11 minutes in, I kind of want to wrap up here, but one of the experiences that I'll give you is with just all my past relationships, dude. In the moment, while I was in the relationship, I always questioned things, and I'd be like, oh, is this the right decision? Is this the right choice? Should I be with this person, etc., etc.? But even after we broke up, and then I went through my own journey of healing, growth, and then dating other people, being with other people, I then saw in hindsight how the past relationships helped me to learn more about myself so that I could give a better version of myself to the new person. Like, out of every relationship, I grew and I came to realize a different part of myself that now I'll offer to a new person that's going to come into my life. So how can anything from the past be a mistake? How can anything from the past not be something that was supposed to be a part of my experience? It literally helped me learn what I needed to so I could be a better version of myself. And this is the reminder that I fucking need right now, because right before this video, dude, I was overthinking like some of the same patterns. And um I'm grateful for all the past experiences that I've had that have made me into the man that I am right now. And I'm grateful for the experiences that I'm going through right now, because I know that regardless of the good, bad, the beautiful, the ugly situations that I have to go through, they're all going to teach me things that will help me become an even better version of myself in the future, whether that be in a couple years, a few years, or 10 years from now. I just don't know how or when, but I know that it will help me, and I truly, genuinely believe that. If there's anything that I can leave you in this video, the core concept is to choose experiences, choose people, choose activities, choose things in your life that align with your internal state of being, and or how you feel about your personal core values. Like, make sure you're aligning those with your external world, and make decisions from a place of love and abundance. Instead of assuming the worst outcome, assume the best outcome. What if it does work out? What if everything does go really well, and things seem to be just fine later on? While also embracing that there's gonna be good, there's gonna be bad, and that's part of life. But regardless of that, you'll keep learning so that you can become better. All while letting go of a fixation on an outcome or a person or an experience. The more you latch on to things, the harder life will take it away from you, bro. Like, I'm telling you, the more you try to latch on, the more you try to hold on while life is pulling it away from you, it will pull it so hard that you could be left devastated. And that's happened to me several times. And in this sort of scenario, the key is to not fight life but flow with it. If it's taking it away, trust that it's for a reason, because that's going to create the space so that something new, something beautiful can enter your life. With that said, I'll wrap up the video here. If you've made it this far into it, I genuinely appreciate you. I hope you got something out of it. Let me know in the comments below what thoughts were in your mind as you were watching this video. And I'd love to know. Super curious. I love talking about these things, and every time I speak to someone about any concepts that I talk about, they offer me a new perspective that I'm like, damn dude, I didn't even think of that. And that's in some ways so humbling and so exciting that I genuinely appreciate it, and I appreciate you and your thoughts. I'll wrap it up. I'll catch you in the next one.